there are so many reasons why I got into teaching.
One of the best things is the light bulb moment.
When you see a pupil suddenly understand something, that's really, really special.
Every child is so full of potential, and the thing that makes me proudest to be a teacher is seeing them realise what they are capable of.
I don't think any other job can give you the same satisfaction.
That's why I chose to teach.
You could get £26,000 tax-free to train. Search Apply to Teach. Selected subjects only, subject to eligibility.
Watch the brand new documentary, Gamertag Radio, a podcast story, now for free on YouTube. Go to story.gamertagradio.com.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Ladies and gentlemen. Podcasting since 2005. You're listening to Gamertag Radio.
Back on the scene.
With your host, podcaster Hall of Famer Danny Pena, the always opinionated Paris Lilly, and from outside of the norm, Peter Toledo. This is Gamertag Radio.
Here we go.
All right, welcome to Gamertag Radio, episode 741. This is your host, Danny, and also joining me this week, co-host of the show, we have Paris in the house. Paris, good morning, man.
Hey, good morning. How's everyone doing?
Good, man. How's everything, man? How's,
I have a bone. I have a bone to pick with what the review that we got for the documentary. What was the name of that?
It started off.
What was the name of that? What was the name of that thing again?
Is it Just Listening? Yeah.
Okay. Well, those guys. So I'm not
Johnson Joel.
A, I'm not a curmudgeon. B, I'm not a bad guy. I just speak my mind. Of the three of us, I'm actually the nicest person on this podcast when it really comes down to it. Anyone that has met me in real life will confirm that. Between these other two people, if I were to show the receipts, you would realize I'm actually the nicest person here. I just want to say that.
My God.
But I thank them for the review that they did for the documentary. I thought it was fair. I mean, everything that they said in it, and I'd suggest other people check it out as well. I thought it was really good what they talked about, but I just had to point that out.
Wow.
And I have a second one I have to start the show off with and say that Danny, going back to our last conversation, which I've probably listened to 10,000 times at this point because it makes me laugh.
Oh my God, you still bringing that up?
Yes, I'm bringing it up again. I'm bringing it up again. Since you're so hung up on the agent and why PlayStation has put that out, let's take it all the way back to like 2000 with BC. Where's BC, huh? Why hasn't BC come out on Xbox
and
yet?
You know what?
Huh?
And you know what? That is dumb for them to announce that early. There you go. It's dumb. I don't care who it is. I don't care who it is. Don't announce something early. Announce something when it's ready. I don't care if it's freaking Atari. Don't do that. I just don't like it. That's it. If you guys don't agree with me, then shut the F up.
Oh, see? Okay, my point taken. Now going back to what I originally said. Am I really the bad guy here, the curmudgeon? I didn't tell nobody to shut the F up. See? There you go. All right, let's continue the show.
Yo, it's all good, man. All right, well, so we have Pete in the house. Pete, what's going on, man?
How do you follow that up?
I don't know, man. I don't know. It's
not better than that. I'm doing really good.
Yeah.
It's been a chill weekend, honestly. There's been nothing major, nothing crazy. Just been a nice chill weekend, and I'm happy. It's been a good weekend.
Yeah. By the way, Pete, the Hope County Stories came out, and we've been getting a lot of great feedback about it. So can't wait for episode 2 to come out this Monday.
Just overall, the response from gamers, non-gamers, it's been pretty interesting. It's been pretty good. I like it. It's something that's completely out of the box and outside of the norm, as my title goes. It's new and it's exciting. I'm glad that we were all able to flex our creative muscle there, to do something different for the community, for Far Cry 5, obviously. And again, I know we've given them kudos plenty of times, but shout out to Ubisoft for believing in us. And giving us the opportunity, as well as the just giving us that chance to do something that's totally different, that we're not used to, that nobody's really accustomed to hearing us do. And I like it. I think it's a sign of things to come. I think we should start doing that more. Just doing not just our regular, video game show, but something different that sets us apart from every other podcast, etc.
But we've done that in the past. A lot of people don't know this, but if you take it way back to Grand Theft Auto 4, this is during the time where you could put custom soundtracks into the Xbox 360 console. You just got to put like a flash drive or a hard drive there. And we've done that. I remember we created together Gamercast Network. This is also when Paris used to be part of Uncle Gamer. And we all created like pirate stations for the game. People could go to the website, either our website, Paris' old website, Gamercast Network site, and they could anyone could download the MP3s and then put it in the game and listen to us, like our show, while they're playing Grand Theft Auto. So we always used to come up with like, cool, unique ideas like that for the show. And at the same time, promote that the podcast, So I think Destructoid picked it up and they talked about it. They said that they loved the idea and stuff, and they were actually promoting all of our shows, like, hey, download it now, put it in your Xbox 360 and so on. So that's cool. So yeah, definitely, I would love to do that more in future, man. So Paris, you want to say anything about that Hope County Stories before we go to the next topic?
I thought it was great for the first episode, and I can't wait till people hear the rest of the episodes that we have coming out leading up to the launch of Far Cry 5. And, echoing what Pete said, it's definitely something I would like us to be able to do, in the future. Not the same exact thing, but more creative, outside of the box type efforts with these titles, leading up to launch, where it allows us to get a little more in depth with the title so we can understand what the developer is trying to do. We understand the characters in the game, and then we translate that and present it to you guys listening and watching in a unique way. So I think it's a great opportunity. And again, thanks for Ubisoft for allowing us the opportunity to do it.
Yeah, definitely. Thanks to Ubisoft, the whole crew over there, man. All right, head over to gamertagradio.com, or you can also find us different podcast directories. You can find us on Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, TuneIn Radio, and other podcast directories. Make sure to subscribe, post a review, share it, let others share it with your friends, and let other people know too about our podcast. And help us out.
Send us your feedback or questions. Give us a call at 786-273-7GTR. Email us at fanmail@gamertagradio.com or leave a message on speakpipe.com/gamertagradio.
All right, so first thing first, I don't know if you hear that or not, but happy birthday to the Nintendo Switch. I can't believe it's been a year already since the release of Nintendo Switch. Insane, man. I think it's been a great year. Two things I want to say about that is that right now it's my favorite console of this generation, more than Xbox One and PlayStation 4. I just love it. I've been playing it a lot, taking it out during my trips and everything, and that's one. No, the second thing is that I think as the first year as a brand new console, it had one of the best launch lineups I've ever seen in any console. So very excited for the future, the plans that Nintendo has for this console and stuff. So what are your thoughts about this, man? A year later, Nintendo Switch.
Good for them. I'm glad. Leaving the Wii era, and people didn't know where Nintendo was really going, what their idea or their what their thought pattern was going to be with regards to what are they gonna do next. And I think I'm echoing your statements here. They knocked it out of the park, and I was one of those early non-believers. I was skeptical. I didn't think it was going to be a success. And how wrong I was, right? I went out, I bought it this holiday season. Super Mario Odyssey blew me away, and it's been a fantastic little ride for that device. Them going from from a tabletop model going to a handheld, and then bridging that gap between handheld and console seamlessly, being able to just pick it up and go without stopping. You know, that was actually a feature I showed to one of my aunts who had come up from Colombia. They were asking me about it, and I put it on the TV, and I was like, oh yeah, and if you just want to go, you can just pick it up and walk away. And they were just like, flabbergasted, like, oh my God, that's really cool. Mm-hmm. So, you know, it was a nice, long, arduous journey for Nintendo. I guess the Wii was that Wii U was that unnecessary trip up that they needed to learn. It's not without its faults, obviously. But
Agreed.
if that's the only thing that they now have to focus on from a console perspective, that's actually not a bad thing. That gives them time, and now they can focus. Hopefully they have that corrected in either future iterations or maybe a software upgrade or update or something like that. Maybe that helps. But we'll see. I think they've got a bright future, especially as developers start to see that, yeah, this is a legit console and a legit platform to develop for. I like it. I'm digging it. What about you, Paris?
Yeah, I mean, I was very skeptical of the Switch at this time a year ago. Like, I don't know how successful it's going to be. Let's see how it plays out with the launch titles, hardware, etc. And, thankfully I was wrong. And this thing turned out to be a smash hit with fantastic titles on the platform. Obviously, Zelda, Mario Odyssey just stand out as 2 Game of the Year contenders. Mario Rabbids being another one. Obviously, that's Splatoon 2. Some of the great games that were on the Wii U that they brought over to the Switch, because for a lot of people, they were basically brand new, like Mario Kart 8, they bring a Donkey Kong over, etc. Fantastic potential with the Switch. I do think we will see copycats down the road for this. I don't think Xbox or PlayStation will do it anytime soon, but I do see this, eventually they're going to come up with something similar, because you literally have a console in your pocket and be able to take it anywhere you go. All of us have told our stories, being on a plane or just anywhere with the Switch and being able to play with it. I'm happy for Nintendo. As a gamer, we should all be happy that Nintendo has basically resurrected themselves and corrected the mistake of the Wii U with the Switch. And again, they've innovated. That's the one thing, we've talked about plenty of times that I think people forget. Nintendo has been the leader in innovation in the gaming space for more than 30 years. I mean, when you really think about it, both gameplay wise, accessory wise, and hardware wise, as far as consoles go, they take risk. They try things that their competition isn't doing. Sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, but at least they make the effort. And this is one time where it actually worked. The only thing I would caution is, yes, they've had a great first year, but now here in that second year, we need a virtual console. We need to know the game plan with that. How are they going to bring forward their back catalog? Because I think that's another big thing that Nintendo can do to separate themselves from their competition, is have their back catalog readily accessible via that virtual console and price it correctly as well. One thing I think they really should do is copy what Xbox did with Game Pass. I mean, they just should have a subscription. Yeah. Have a subscription, and I can play whatever I want from the back catalog. I would pay for it. Why not? I mean, I know there's games in their back catalog that I want to play. And I think they've done a great case study on this with the NES Classic and the Super Nintendo Classic. I mean, there is a demand for their old titles, so why not do it? The other thing is keep the momentum going with their new games, their new AAA games. I mean, are we getting a Metroid this year or whatever the case may be? Because they can't go into year 2 and then look, they're not going to follow up having Zelda, Mario Rabbids, and Mario Odyssey in 1 year. That I don't think any publisher can follow up those 3 like basically Game of the Year contenders in 1 year. That's an impossible thing to keep going, that momentum. But they can at least have one, like I said, a Metroid or something. That'll be key. And then just have a steady flow of titles. Obviously, the third-party support is starting to come on, and keep that momentum going as well. And then finally, I think the one thing that Nintendo needs to do, and not in year 2, maybe going into the 3rd year of the Switch, they need a hardware revision. And when I say a hardware revision, not change the design of it, but they need a better battery. If I had any complaint about the Switch, it's the battery. It's the battery and the accessories that you have to use to recharge that battery. If they could do a hardware revision on that, have a more efficient battery and allow more accessories to be able to quickly charge said battery, I think that'd be a huge win for them. So, but I mean, that's more of a nitpick than anything at this point. I think overall, yeah, Nintendo's done a fantastic job.
You think it's also important to also add media apps like YouTube, Netflix, and so on too for the device?
They're doing it. I mean, we're seeing that they're doing it because Hulu's on there now, right?
Yeah, Hulu's the only one.
And
the rumor is Netflix. Yeah.
Yeah, rumors. I mean, Netflix is going to be the end game one because, and we talked about this before already, if they get Netflix on there and they have directly on the Switch the download your shows app so you can watch them offline. Oh, that is the ultimate playing
game changer.
Done. I wouldn't even bring my iPad anymore. I would just have my Switch.
Yeah, I agree.
See, my only concern with that part would be the download part because obviously you need the requisite storage for it, and yeah, the Netflix stuff isn't as the download stuff. It isn't as a storage. It's not as hard on your storage because I've been able to download, like on our last trip, I was able to do Altered Carbon, the entire series, and it didn't take up that much storage. So that would be my only concern was, obviously if you're going to go and do Netflix, if obviously the feature is available, if you can do something like that, you're, as a consumer, or as an owner of a Switch, you're going to have to upgrade and get a bigger chip to support, additional storage. I guess because it's got the built-in kickstand, but I kind of like watching it on my iPad because it gives me more screen space. When I'm watching a movie or a TV show on Netflix on, like, let's say a flight, right? I like the bigger screen.
Oh, I do too. Don't get me wrong. I'm just thinking as far as being
flexibility,
more
I guess.
Yeah, flexibility to have that option there. I mean, Netflix is probably the biggest one that you want. They already got Hulu there. Get Amazon Prime on there as well. If I basically got the big three streaming services, and Amazon does downloading now as well. So if Hulu
they do. I didn't know that.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay. And if Hulu does it, and then obviously Netflix does it. And like you said, Netflix downloads have been they're very efficient. They don't take up a lot of space. So yeah, why not? I mean, that's just another check mark that the Switch is going to have over its competition. Being able, again, that's what I said. They need a hardware revision with the battery. That's my only complaint.
Like, I know on some flights, they have, like, you have the USB adapter either under the chair, or it's a plug. So you would need to bring your plug, or you could plug it into, I know, like on American Airlines now, most of their newer planes, they've got like the screen with the USB port right under it, and you could plug it in. I'm hoping that maybe those provide sufficient charge to be able to actually charge your Switch. So that way you could watch.
It's a little bit slower. It's slower though,
which is fine though. But as long as you're not at a negative where you're draining more than you're charging. Like, as long as it's equal to, as long as like let's say you plug it in and you start watching a movie that's on local storage, if you start off at 80% and you go through a 2-hour flight and you're at 85, 90%, give me a 1-to-1 charge at least, right? But as long as I'm not at a negative by the time, because then it's not really charging. It might be a trickle charge and slowing the rate of consumption on the battery. That'd be the only thing that I would want.
Oh, and one other thing I'd like to see is just true Bluetooth headphone support as well. That'd be the only other thing, And again, to me, these are nitpicks because its main function as a gaming device, it's fantastic. I have no complaints with it as a gaming device. And even as a gaming device, it's very flexible with its controller support and just the way that you can use it. Like Pete alluded to, the kickstand. I mean, you don't even need a TV, but if you want to play it on the TV, you can. So it's a fantastic piece of hardware and one of Nintendo's best innovations, which, like I said, 5 years from now, I guarantee you we see copycats. I bet you we have an Xbox and PlayStation version of what Nintendo's doing with the Switch.
Yeah. Before we go to the next topic, is there any memories, like one of your favorite memories throughout the year with the Nintendo Switch?
Mine is easy. Mine is being at E3 and playing Mario Rabbids for the first time. And was like, oh my God, this is amazing. throw my wallet at the screen, and then I walk out the door, and you're literally interviewing the creative director. and I hijacked the interview for like 20 seconds to tell him how awesome this game was. That would be my highlight for the Switch, because that, to me, that was that realization, like, oh my God, look at the potential of this thing. Wow. It's not just the Zelda machine. You know what I mean? Because at that point, it was really just Zelda coming up to E3, but it was at E3 where we started to see, oh my God, they're coming with Mario Odyssey. They're coming with this or that. And that was my hands-on with something that wasn't named Zelda. And I was like, oh, okay, I get it now. Oh, I can't wait to play this. And one other thing I think this thing has a great potential with, I didn't talk about, is just the indie game support. You know, I really hope they embrace indie games and get more of those on there. Like, you know, Shovel Knight's on there as an example. I want to see more titles like that show up on the Switch, because again, the platform is just built, you know, to handle like classic 2D platforming type games, which, you know, that's the bread and butter of indie titles right now, is doing that 2D platformer type support, which, what is it? The Mega Man collection is coming, right? And that coming in May or something like that. That's a day one purchase. Why not? Oh my God, I'll probably throw my Switch and smash it against a wall when I play Mega Man 2, but still, you know what I'm saying? Those are the kind of titles that are just built for the Switch. I can't wait to play it.
Yeah. What about you, Pete?
I'd have to say sitting in the living room and playing with the kids, letting them finally experience a really good Mario title. And having me, my wife, the kids, you know, swapping the controller back and forth and playing, is one. Second, me and you playing Uno in San Francisco on the couch, just chilling at the bar.
Oh, that was fun.
That was so much fun. We were heated. We were enhanced, and it was so much fun. Right. So, you know, obviously we were waiting for Paris, and I was hoping that Paris would have brought his or whatever, and we could have played and had our tournament finally.
Well, we have to do that one day.
Yeah. Maybe at E3.
I didn't get Uno like some people.
It's so good. You know what? My favorite memory is playing Zelda during a long flight for the first time. That was like mind blowing, because I'm so used to playing, you know, tablet games, mobile games, or the 3DS, but actually playing Zelda for the first time on my flight from the Nintendo Switch, mind blowing. I was like, this is freaking amazing. And then playing Doom for the first time, instead of playing it on my TV, now on the go. That was just special. So now that I know Paris mentioned about indie games, now I have to think, if there's an indie game that is coming out for all three systems, I even including, let's say, add the PC in there. Now I'm like, man, should I just buy for the console? Oh, I'm going to buy it on the Switch and just play on the go. I think I've been doing that a lot. The past few months, I've been doing that a lot. I've been buying more games, indie games, on the Switch than Xbox, PlayStation 4, and PC because of that. Just that feature of playing it on the go. I just love that. So, but speaking about Nintendo Switch, I want to mention this before we go to another topic and stuff. So a couple of days ago, people were having issues, because usually when you go to the dashboard and you go to your profile, it'll mention like how many hours you have in certain games and stuff. So there was a couple of users that were having issues about that. So overall, people thought it was going to be like everything was going to get erased, like how many hours they played Zelda and other games and stuff. But Nintendo said, no, it's just a couple of users that were having that issue and stuff. I think it got fixed. But my question is to you guys, how important is for you as a gamer, of a fan of any games that you want, how important it is to you to know how many hours you've been playing a certain game? Do you think that that's very important to you, or not really?
I don't think so. I think it's nice to know occasionally. I don't think it's something that people actively go to try to keep updating. I think it's a nice metric to understand or know. I mean, I know it's available for most every game. For a while, Xbox kind of did it based on whether the game was turned on or not, and I think they've started to adjust that or whatever. I know Steam does it as well. You can do it per game, and it'll tell you how much you've played. But I don't think it's something that's super important. And I know that there's other APIs that you can pull up on the web that allow you to pull up that information to let you know how long, how many hours you've played on specific games. But I don't think it's something that, if it were to go away, I don't think it would be a major concern for me.
And you, Paris?
Yeah, it's not that big of a deal. I mean, hey, sometimes, when I'm playing a game and it pops up and I know how many hours I played, it's cool to know, but is it like a deal breaker or major issue if I don't know? Not really. Some games, I mean, take Destiny, for example. I mean, I'm in the plus 1,000 hours on that. And yeah, it's cool to know that I may have played that long, but it's also kind of scary. Like, man, damn, I've been playing the game that damn long, so not that big of a deal.
To me, it's more of like, yeah, if it's there, that's cool. But if they remove it out of nowhere, I'll be like, damn, I would like to know how many hours it took me to finish like a single player game, or maybe like you mentioned about Destiny. That's pretty cool to know, I think, But yeah, if it's not there, it's whatever. It doesn't bother me at all. So, but let's go with the next topic. This one, I think, it's a very important topic, especially those that have been watching the news, politics, political stuff. So President Trump mentioned, they've been talking about this whole gun control issues that's been going on now for like the past few weeks, because everything that happened here in Florida with the high school students and stuff. I know everybody's gonna have their own opinions about this stuff, right? But the thing that really, really bothers me is when a politician that doesn't know anything about video games, they'll go and start blaming video games for all this violence that's going on here in the United States, right? It bothers me a lot because it reminds me a lot of the 1990s when the whole Mortal Kombat, Night Trap, the controversy about that, and then they had to do like ratings for all those games because of that. And I think also hip hop. I think it was 2 Live Crew. They were like the first ones to get a parental advisory when their album came out during that time in the 90s and stuff. So during, I think it was, I know it was like a Q&A or what, but President Trump mentioned that he was planning to have a meeting with, execs from different video game companies to talk about this, right? And he mentioned that out of nowhere. And, journalists been digging to see if it's true, but a lot of every other company didn't get invited. No Nintendo, no Sony, no Xbox. There was no ESA. Nobody got invited. So why would he bring that up? And at the same time, why are politicians blaming video games? Because Japan, Europe, every other country, they watch the same movie, they play the same games, but their crime rate is lower than the United States. So it's like, why blame video games and movies or even music and stuff? So your thoughts about this, guys? I definitely want to get your opinion about this, man.
See, I hate bringing politics into the show, right?
Yeah, I honestly don't want to be frank with you. I don't.
Yeah, but it's video games, dude.
But,
it's part of our industry. You know what I'm saying?
It's important. It's that ledge. It's that crazy ledge that nobody really wants to discuss. I will say this, and I've mentioned this on the show, and I don't remember if it was the show or we did it on an after show, but there still hasn't been scientific proof that video games cause violence, right? You can look it up. I'm not going to do the research for you guys. I'm not going to, I don't want to spend too much time on here. But it's something that's been used over the years constantly with no scientific backing. So it's really, really difficult for someone to come out and just blatantly accuse video games of causing violence. We've seen it time and time again over the years. I don't think this is something we want to go down the rabbit hole.
No, but you know why? But you know why I bring that up, Pete and Paris? Because it's important to us. We're it's part of our industry, right? And what happens? There's changes that's going to affect all of us as fans of video games. I think it's important to voice your opinion. It's not about parties. It has nothing to do with that. It was more of about just the games, man. Everybody has the right to design any type of game. I feel like that parents. The most important thing is parents are the ones that have to say, no, you can't play this game. This is for a mature audience. You know what? This is the right game for you, and so on. So I think it's great to have that discussion. It's not about political parties or anything like that. You know what I'm trying to say? So, but it just bothers me that a lot of these politicians will bring up video game and blame video games for something that's been going on too. That's all. I
mean, maybe bring it up in a on just for discussion on our Discord channel. Maybe just put up like a channel for people to discuss and get their feelings out. Might be a good way to do it, but I don't think the show is a good platform for that.
Okay. All right. I guess I'm the only one that will talk about this.
See, but Danny, don't say that though.
But I agree with you.
Because I have strong feelings on it, but we catch so much when we give our political beliefs on the show that I don't want to do it anymore. I really don't. I'd rather do it. I'd rather do it on a platform outside of the podcast. I say what I want on my Twitter feed, because if you don't like what I say on Twitter, unfollow me. It's that simple.
Yep.
But I do understand that people subscribe to this show to kind of get away from that. So we've heard it numerous times. So I try to not talk about it if at all possible. And we know right now the reasons that this is coming up. I mean, most people are smart enough to know that video games is not the reason what happened in Florida a couple weeks ago. It's like, come on, really? But it's become political now, so you have no choice but to bring politics into it. So that's why I'd rather not talk about it on the show, because as you can tell right now, I get kind of heated talking about it, and I don't want to say something that's going to offend certain people because they may disagree with what I have to say.
Right, and I think the general gist of what Danny was just trying to come across with was, you know, there's this alleged discussion that never happened, right? And it's just
but again, you have to talk about politics when you bring that up. So I just would rather not.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, but shout out to the ESA, because they invited me to be on their podcast to talk about the documentary and our 13th anniversary and stuff. And yeah, we talked about a little bit about that, you know. The things have been going on behind the scenes and stuff. But shout out to the ESA.
And that's a group that should be involved in that conversation, not us.
Oh, yeah, definitely. Yeah, big time, man. But yeah, any updates, just make sure to follow them on Twitter or, a couple of journalists. I think they've been writing great articles about that stuff, man. And I think it's important for us to know. So do your research and follow up, man. So. All right, so Pete, I know you mentioned this before we recorded. We started recording about some changes with Sony, with the PlayStation 3 and also PlayStation Vita. Was it the online store, right?
So as of March 8th, which is in just a couple of days, right? It's less than a week. Monthly games that come out for PlayStation Plus owners will no longer include PlayStation 3 or PlayStation Vita titles. Those that you've downloaded as part of the program will continue to stay with you as long as your PlayStation Plus subscription stays active. So those of you that are hoping for backwards compatible type titles in your monthly games box, starting March 8th and beyond, will no longer be included. What are your thoughts? Because I thought backwards compatibility was an important topic for gamers. And it almost seems as if Sony is going backwards in their decision making. Do you think this is a good or bad idea?
Bad idea.
I honestly wasn't. It didn't bother me because I think enough time has passed now that, if PlayStation Plus is going to focus on PS4 titles, so be it. They're not saying you still can't go back and buy an old PlayStation 3 or a Vita game. They're just not including it in PlayStation Plus anymore.
Is this more towards the monetization of it because they don't want to give it away for free?
They're giving you Bloodborne and Ratchet and Clank in PlayStation Plus this month. I mean, I see more value in getting that than getting an old PlayStation 3 or Vita game from PlayStation Plus at this point. In the life cycle of the console. I mean, we're on the back half of the PlayStation 4 life cycle at this point, right? So I'm not overly concerned about looking back to PlayStation 3 and Vita. If anything, PlayStation needs to come up with a real backwards compatibility plan so that I can natively play these games, on the PS4. That's what I would rather see, versus worrying about what I can get from PlayStation Plus.
And also, you also got to understand, too, that, Sony has been selling a lot of consoles and they could do whatever they want with that. It's like the sales of PlayStation Vita and PlayStation 3 is declining. Let's just focus on what's selling the most right now. Let's focus on PlayStation VR. Let's focus on PlayStation 4, PlayStation 4 Pro. Let's just focus on that. So I can understand why they made the change. But at the same time, it's scary because imagine you that don't read much about what's going on in the industry, don't know anything about video games, you just go to the store and buy the PlayStation Vita, and then you hear this. It's kind of
but they're
man.
giving you a year though.
Yeah, they are giving.
It's
you
not.
A year
It's it to me. It's more than fair that they're basically saying, hey, by the way, in a year you're not going to be able to get this anymore. And again, we're in 2019 at that point, so I'm okay with it. It doesn't really bother me. I don't think they're slighting anyone or taking something away of real value. No, I shouldn't say of real value. They're not taking anything away that, where I feel like I'm being gypped on my PlayStation Plus at this point. If they're going to truly support PlayStation Plus with PS4 titles and continue to push that forward, again, as a gamer, I'd rather see that. I'd rather get more quality PlayStation 4 titles from being a PlayStation Plus member than getting a PS3. Because right now, I would still need a PS3 or a Vita to be able to use that. And like I said, we're in 2019 at that point. So now you're looking at about 6 years. We're 6 years out from when those platforms were still really viable. I'm okay with it.
Do you think it's important for them to add that for the next generation console?
Like I said, they need to do what Xbox is doing with Xbox's backwards compatibility plan. Yes, I would love to see that PlayStation 5 support the entire back catalog on backwards compatibility. I think that would be a great move by them instead of trying to get people on PlayStation Now, which, going back to what Pete was saying, that's all about just making money. That's all they're trying to do with that, because they bought that streaming service and they're trying to get their return on investment from it. And ultimately, I don't think PlayStation Now is going to really go anywhere.
So answer me this, and maybe this is more towards my naivete of the PlayStation ethos and etc. If I get a game through PlayStation Plus, right? Throw an arbitrary PlayStation only title for me. And I only have a PlayStation 4. I can't use that to play that title.
I'm confused on what you're saying.
So I only have a PlayStation 4 title. I don't have a PlayStation 4,
NAC.
right?
You got NAC. Okay.
Right.
So
and
NAC,
I get NAC as part of my PlayStation Plus membership. I can't play that on my PlayStation 4?
Yeah.
From PlayStation 3 to PlayStation 4, or just PlayStation 4 title?
The PlayStation 3 version, let's say.
Oh, the PlayStation. Yeah, you can't play that on PS4. You need a PS3. That's the point I'm making. You to take advantage of what they're giving you on PlayStation Plus right now, you still need to have a PlayStation 3 to play those games. You cannot play those on a PlayStation 4. So again, this is my point. Since they don't have a real backwards compatibility, since backwards compatibility isn't on PS4,
gotcha.
I don't feel the need to still be able to get PS3 games because A, I don't have a PS3, and B, I'm not going to go buy one to go back and play those older games. Now if they were like Xbox and you had backwards compatibility, you can play all the way back to the original PlayStation on my PS4, then I would think they would still need that for PlayStation Plus. I think that would be a nice perk of PlayStation Plus to then have those old backwards compatibility games as a part of that service. And hey, we'll give you a couple, throughout the year for free. Like imagine if, just as an example, imagine if you were able to get the original Grand Theft Auto 3, which, basically is the godfather of all these open world games, back in the PlayStation 2 days. They gave you that for free on PlayStation Plus. I'd probably get it and play it just for the nostalgia factor of it, or Metal Gear Solid 2 or things like that. You know what I mean? Hey, Danny, Final Fantasy 7, since Square hasn't done the remake yet,
Hey, there you go. That's your opportunity to play it. That's your opportunity.
You know what I'm saying?
Shout to agents. Shout to agents.
Yeah.
What if?
But you see my point now, Pete, right?
Yeah.
It's I would still need the old hardware to be able to take advantage. Yeah, exactly. So
it's redundant.
That's why I'm not
2018.
too concerned about it. Yeah.
Because if anything, and I know it's old, it's an old ass title, but I would love to be able to play Pixel Junk Eden again on my PlayStation 4, but I won't be able to then if that's the case.
Right. That's a great example of it. That was a great game, that you can't play on your PlayStation 4. You would still need to keep your PS3 right now.
Yeah. But I think that, thanks to the release of PlayStation Now and now the competition Game Pass, I think that's a game changer for the next generation console, because now company could say, oh yeah, we have a brand new console. By the way, we have this amount of games on day one, if you want to be part of our subscription service. And also we have exclusive launch titles for this console. I think that's important too, man.
Think about, okay, let's pull Xbox into this for a second. Let's again look ahead to the next generation of consoles. So when the next Xbox and the next PlayStation comes out, Phil Spencer is going to be able to stand on that stage and with a straight face say that, and if you purchase Game Pass day one with your new console, we're giving you, because now remember with Game Pass, all the Xbox One first party games are available on it. So starting with Sea of Thieves and on Halo 6 all the way through, right? So all those games are available to you day one. And anything else that's a part of Game Pass right now and going into the back catalog of the 360 and the original Xbox, all those games will be available to you day one when you buy that new Xbox, and you've not bought one new title for the Xbox yet. And oh, by the way, any new title that comes, exclusive Xbox title on the next generation one, is going to be a part of that Game Pass too. It's such a $10 a month, right?
Yeah, $10 a month, $9.99.
I will say it again. If I owned an Xbox console right now, I would have Game Pass. That is a tremendous value that you're going to get starting now. You know, when Sea of Thieves and all that comes out, because why not? It's going to be a great value. Plus, you have all those backwards compatibility games and games that you may not have bought otherwise that now you can go try out. And oh wait, I actually like this. Now I'm going to go play it and buy the DLC for it too. So I'm telling you, if Sony doesn't do something similar next time, they'll be at a disadvantage compared to what Xbox is going to be able to do when we go to the next consoles.
Now, I'm wondering, what are the chances of Nintendo doing that? Like, let's say a brand new Zelda game. Oh, let's go with Metro Prime 4. It's available now on our subscription service, $10 a month. What are the chances of that happening with them for Nintendo Switch?
I say less than 50% right now. I mean, it's something I'd like to see, but I just don't think Nintendo has that mentality to do it.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I know it's easier for them to do it with the old school titles, so for sure. They could easily do that. But man, if they could do that with the new games, oh man, that would be freaking awesome. $10 a month, plus including indie games too. That would be amazing. I'll be playing all those games all the time, man.
I want to break the fourth wall for a slight second. Someone asked, with Game Pass, do games come and go, or are they always there? My understanding is the Xbox Xbox games, the first party games that come from Microsoft, those will always be there. Third party, I don't know. I would have to do more research on that. There could be a scenario where third parties pull their games from the service, but I don't know.
Yeah, no, it's a great question because I think it's also because maybe contracts. Right. It'll be available there for a couple months and then we'll take it out. But it's the same thing, similar to Netflix. We see that all the time with all these movies. There's available there, and then after the contract is done, they remove it from the service. So yeah, I could see that. But exclusive Netflix originals, it stays there. They don't take that off at all. So it's going to be similar with Xbox Game Pass. So, by the way, we're gonna play this audio on the podcast here. This was recorded during our trip over there when we went to Far Cry 5 event. We're gonna have a couple of special guests, Tanya, whole Spawn on Me crew. Shout out to Khalif, he's in there. Also Q from GameCrate.com. We had a great conversation about the event. Why I think it's important for gaming companies to have events like this, similar to Far Cry 5. So we're going to play this, and we'll be right back after this.
Hello, I see you're interested in the Corsa with
mobile connectivity.
Exactly.
And advanced European engineering for a fun dynamic drive.
All for just £149 initial rental, then £149 a month.
Really?
Search Corsa Energy. Vauxhall. British brand since 1903. Personal contract hire offer on Corsa 3-door Energy 1.4 75 PS in metallic paint. Initial rental £149 plus 47 months at £149. Excess miles over contracted mileage of 20,000 over 48 months, charged at 5 pence per mile. You will not own the car. T's and C's apply. Offer ends March 31st, 2018. Offer not available with free insurance.
Back on the scene.
This is Gamertag Radio. Voicemail at 786-2737-GTR.
Gamertag Radio. We are here with Danny Pena Peter Toledo, Q, and Tanya DePass. How's everybody doing? Everybody's good.
All right, man. And what about you? You're not gonna mention your name?
Kyle Adams, how you doing?
All right, so
I quit.
All right, so we're live here at what you want? Hotel room. Well, close to Hope County. Yeah, right. Yeah. So yeah, what's up, everyone? Let's talk about our experience with Far Cry 5 event activities and experience and no leaks. What's your thoughts about that? Ubisoft going all out with this event.
So Ubisoft had a bunch of folks out. We did get to see some gameplay that was awesome, but we also had a lot of really cool activities. And for me, it was interesting because I had never come to an event like this where we get to hang out, get to do a lot of cool stuff, like rescue a dog. No animals were harmed during the filming of this episode. Mm-hmm. No animals were harmed during the course of the day. They did not let us play with live animals. But I learned to shoot a crossbow and a slingshot, and no one was harmed in any of us learning to shoot a crossbow. But it was really cool because I think it was good because it fit the theme. I really felt like I was in Montana, even though we were in a secret location that was not Montana. Mm-hmm. I enjoyed it, and it's it helped me really get in the frame of mind for the game. So I'm like just looking at the calendar now, like I want the game. Give me the game right now.
And this is your first time being like an event like this, right? Like,
yep, I got to get a little taste of it at an earlier preview event late last year, but an all day kind of full on event like this, it is my first time like that.
It's cool. Q, your thoughts, man? Because marketing wise, how smart was that for Ubisoft?
I've never been to an event like this. I've been to many video game events where video game companies invite you out to come check out their game, play the games, capture, gameplay, interview developers. That's like old hat. But something like this where Ubisoft is trying to give game journalists and stuff the experience of the things that happen in the game. Like we went ATV riding in the hills, we shot the crossbow, which was fun, slingshots, and then taking the skills that we learned shooting the crossbow and doing like a little obstacle course, and then trying some whiskey at the end of the day, and
which was great, by the way.
Yeah. And I think I don't know if they're trying to get us to have a positive view of the game with this, but regardless, it was fun. It was a blast for me. I had a great time. It was beautiful out there. It was kind of cold.
But I think that was honestly, it was perfect for the experience too.
Yeah.
Being cold. Yeah.
So is in the country, is on a real life ranch, and they had all the signage out, and they had some nice cars out there that I guess they would think that people in the country would have, like muscle cars and stuff. And it was fun. I think it was a great event.
Now, we went to Call of Duty XP.
Mm-hmm.
That was also kind of like an experience event too.
Yeah, but it was in a parking lot at the Forum in LA.
Yeah,
that's a little
true.
different.
But I'm talking about more like the zip line, going to the haunted house, right? There was like zombies in there and everything.
Yeah,
like inside, that was pretty cool, I think.
Too. Yeah, that was cool, and that was more of they did that for the fans too, and the people who bought tickets to the Call of Duty tournament, because that's what it really was.
Yeah.
And they just have tents out there set up with Call of Duty game. But I think this is a little bit more immersive than what Activision did with the Call of Duty XP. Ubisoft, they did a great job, and I had a blast. And you should check out everybody's Instagram to see all the pictures. And I think Danny's going to be uploading some videos of some of the experiences we did, and it was great.
Yeah.
What do you think, Pete?
Yeah, your thoughts about this? How important is for more companies to do this in the future for their games? They can't put it off with every single game, but certain games I think they can.
Right. Well, there's games like it would be hard pressed to do something like this for Minecraft or something like that. But when you have a game that's as immersive as it is, obviously the story of Joseph Seed and Eden's Gate coming into Hope County, it lends itself more. And us as members of the community and media and bloggers and podcasters, what we take away from an event like this is the experience. And the experience is something that will sit with us for a lot longer than maybe a 3-hour, dev gameplay session in a random hotel or in an event center, right? So let's take PAX for an example, right? You go there, you spend maybe half an hour waiting in line, you finally get your 15, 20 minutes with a developer or a creative director. They, you get some gameplay, and then as Paris so lovingly says, they pat you on the ass and you walk out, right? And that's your 30 to 45 minutes of that session, and then you go on to the next one, and you may remember or forget some of those things. Whereas we've all spent probably a good 14, 15 hours with each other today alone, whether it be, downstairs chit-chatting with everybody during breakfast, or once we got there, it was just session after session after session of, like, as you guys said, many of you guys had never shot a crossbow. We got to shoot crossbows. We got to shoot, full scale.
I love the
slingshots. Not like the rinky dink, look like your mom's hair pick or something with the middle needles popped out. This was, an official, 3-band, slingshot. Those are experiences you may or may not ever have again. So you'll remember those. That crazy quad ATV ride that we all went on. Like, this was
crazy.
That was full speed. We were doing a good 50 to 60, 70 miles per hour up, down the hills, sideways, drifting, almost flipping.
The name of the company, 511, right?
511 is a tactical gear company.
Okay.
So the people that were doing the ATVs is a little bit different. But 511 is a tactical gear company. Like, if you go to like Gander Mountain or Bass Pro Shops, you'll see a bunch of their stuff out there. Actually, shout out to them for hooking us all up with dope backpacks and t-shirts and hats and stuff. But things like that, yes, we all had extended gameplay sessions, which, we'll talk about on later shows and stuff like that. But that's something that we'll take away. That's something that, we'll all take away from this event. And, shout out to them for coming up with a great idea for us.
Definitely. Khalif.
It's interesting. It makes me think about what would this look like if it wasn't for press, which would be a really interesting angle as well. As you see, PR has done a wonderful job. Thank you again to Ubisoft for bringing us all out. But I would love to see instances and experiences like this kind of be extended in smaller fashions. You can't do it with as many people because of all the, all the things you'd have to sign before you got into doing any of that stuff. But seeing some of the things we were able to do today as a small post-launch, event that you would have fans come in, where they will have those experiences too, would be fantastic. Because then it's something that then, we are the folks who are supposed to be the messengers, kind of sharing our experiences out with our respective communities, and hopefully by proxy building some hype for their product. But having those folks be the folks who are going to evangelize that stuff out by going through and doing it themselves is even bigger. So just imagine that with games that are like Far Cry 5 or The Last of Us 2, or things that are kind of, I think you need a game that has a really solid narrative going into it, so that the world building helps to build itself out, and then you can have those conversations be things that you're like incorporating both gameplay elements and also story elements that you then are pushing people through. But again, it's like there are so many ways that could build itself out. That it seems really smart for PR to be doing this for multiple game companies to figure out how they want to be building that hype and excitement around the products that they're putting out.
And that's the thing, that a lot of the gaming companies in the past, they usually will get like mainstream artists to perform,
like Rick Ross,
Jay-Z, Eminem. I know Activision done that in the past. That to me is like a waste of money. Yeah, they probably will get some of the the casual audience that don't know much about the game, but they'll see Eminem. Oh, you know what? I'll buy this game because of Eminem.
Right.
But to me, I think that's a waste of money.
Yeah.
But having an event like this, I think it's a lot better. And I think the fan the fans will appreciate more about the product.
Yeah.
If they also attend the event or like the experience or whatever.
I mean, think about it.
So-
You have the kind of offshoots as well that are already in the space that are most of them aren't even really attached to the products that they're actually or the companies that they're actually doing.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like Destiny Con being a thing, right? Destiny, although Activision isn't directly like giving that outfit stuff to be able to do, they are like helping in terms of like building hype for their own, for the game that they're making. So it's like thinking about that stuff in terms of like, maybe the conversation that we've all been having about E3 and about how companies are either going to be staying in those conferences or maybe jumping out, building their own experiences like PSX, and maybe Xbox does their own thing and other folks do their own thing. You see it kind of trickle themselves down, and hopefully those experiences will kind of broaden themselves out to people and that they can actually dig into it too.
Do you think EA Play, Pete, you think that's enough for EA for like a fan experience?
I still don't think that E3 is for the consumer. There's plenty of opportunities for consumers to go out and get that big con experience. PAX, prime example. There shouldn't be consumers.
That wasn't the question though.
I don't care.
EA Play.
But I'm just saying, in general, I like EA Play as long as they're able to do, and honestly, venue doesn't matter at that point. Give me the content that I need to do or I need to cover, regardless of setting, whether it's at LA Live or wherever.
Mm-hmm.
Give it to me in an environment that I don't have to stress and struggle with to get my accesses to. I'm still in that, I guess, majority of media and journalism and podcasters and stuff that get to attend E3 that don't want the 15,000 strong public coming in and bumping me over. Shout out to the ESA for learning from the experiences that we all went through last year and giving us that 3 or 4 hour buffer that we're going to have in 2018. I know a lot of us had spoken about, okay, maybe extend it a day, give us a full day, and then, bring in the hordes.
Well, here's a question for you, Pete, because I want to box you in on EA Play for a second.
Uh-oh.
What would having the experiences that we had?
I like how you did it. Box me in with EA and the sports thing. That was good. Nice play. Nice job.
That was the whiskey talking. That was all the stuff. But thinking about EA Play in terms of the kind of experiences that we had today, what would something that would translate well into a fan experience specifically from the titles that EA we know are the main, the kind of known quantities that we have? And, some of the stuff on the periphery.
I kind of don't want to give them their job. I don't want to do their job for them and give them cool ideas. But I think it would be cool to FIFA's obviously their major number one sports seller. Give me a virtual play against a goalie type experience. You know what I mean? It's be very, very hard pressed to have, some players sit there and just fielding 15,000 kicks, trying to block a goal. But get me something you can do it with a golf game, right?
Right.
Probably been a minute since we've all had a PGA golf game, but if they could do golf from a virtual experience, do something like that, right? Maybe bring in a virtual experience of swinging a golf club and see who can hit the longest drive, who can nail the putt, who can hit a pitch. You know what I mean? Or who can get the ball out the sand trap. With basketball, it's a lot at that point. It's hard to do because it's a potential liability where if you have a kid or even a media, journalists come out there, try to shoot a hoop, they crap their ankle, and then, next thing you know, that's a liability. So it's hit or miss. You can maybe do that with maybe a virtual shooter type thing. I know many, many moons ago when I was studying criminal justice in high school, we went to one of those virtual target practices, and I was able to do that. They've got them at Granger and other gun ranges and stuff like that. It'd be probably mad expensive, but that's an opportunity that they could do that. Maybe bring you into Battlefield, here's the virtual experience or something like that. And that might be even a good way for EA to get into the virtual space.
Activision did actually something like that. I was talking to one of the YouTubers out here. They actually invited him out to fly in some World War II planes, to promote Call of Duty World War II, and he flew in. And then Red Bull invited me out because Red Bull has their little air race video game on PC, and I think you can just play it on the web too. And they invited me out to come play the game and fly in an air race plane with one of their air racing pilots to kind of compare the experience. Of course, I got nauseous and almost threw up, but it was a blast. It was fun. So but it is on video. No, I didn't throw up, but almost.
The light of day,
Actually, I did upload the video of me in the plane and flying the plane. But I think it's a cool little marketing tool if a company can afford it. And big companies like Activision, Ubisoft, EA, they can afford to do it. And I think it's a fun idea for fans and other people to participate in.
Well, I know it wasn't the question you asked, but I do kind of want to go back and agree with what Pete said about, like fans and the general public getting to go to things like EA, etc. I'm sorry, E3, because EA doesn't just let anybody walk in the door. Because for me, the last time I set foot in E3 was many, many moons ago, and it was still open to the public in Chicago. And now, as part of what I do, part of what we do is Spawn on Me, having gone to all these conventions, the mindset and what I see people wanting out of something at like PAX or, any of these other conventions like C2E2 is going to be different than what someone who is used to that, attraction, used to, I get to go stand in line or do whatever they're going to do, going to E3, because I always view E3 and things like the Game Developers Conference, that is a professional conference. And so for the public, it's like, and I'm sorry in advance, this sounds kind of dismissive, but for me, I always view the general public going to that stuff as letting the kids loose in the candy store. Because for them, it's like, oh, cool, I got to go see all this stuff. But, for us, for content creators, for influencers, as much as I despise that word, it is work. We're not there just to go see all the cool things and the shiny lights. Well, let me finish, Pete. I'm trying to get to a point here. But the point being is, like, for us, it's still work. Yes, we're having fun. Yes, we get to run amok and we get to talk to cool people and meet folks that we admire and work with and want to work with. But it's not the same thing for us. Because, like, a lot of people, I think, see what we do and the stuff that, like, Gamertag does, that Spawn on Me does, that all of us do,
and Game
what
Crate.
Q does.
Game Crate, too.
Could you all stop?
Go for it.
Look, Black Panther. What I'm saying is, for us, there's a different level of what we're seeking and what we go for. Because, like, in terms of what I do, is like every year we do the Game Developer Conference scholarship, and every year we always get people who think that it's like an E3, that it's like a PAX or something. So, on the one hand, I guess it's cool that the general public gets to go, but for me, it's like letting somebody into my virtual workspace, if that makes sense.
I mean, we all been through that stuff, man. I remember my first E3, I was like a little kid, excited and stuff. So it happens. But we're gonna wrap it up here. And got any future projects you guys are working on? Game Crate, Spawn on Me, what's up?
We're still grinding, just trying to make things happen. We do our Twitch show live every Thursday on twitch.tv/Spawn on Me, 7:30 p.m. Pacific time. And we're still just looking to build stuff with cool people and, any brands and all that stuff that want to get with us and do fun content and try to look at the space a little bit differently and kind of build some different ideas into it would be really fun. So that's what we're trying to get done for 2018. Tanya?
I've actually got an anthology coming out in June. It's a collection of essays from people in the industry and talking about what it's like to be marginalized, why they stay in the industry, why they got in the industry. And so it's a follow-up to Women in Game Dev, The Glass Level Cap, that Jennifer Hepler edited. So that'll be out in June. So that's kind of like what I'm doing beside all this travel.
For me, just, visit GameCrate.com. You can follow GameCrate on Twitter. You can follow me on Twitter at Q_Salazar, SALAZAR. I'm sure Daniel put it in the show notes anyway. He usually does.
Yeah,
but yeah, thanks for having me on, man. Appreciate it.
Cool. And Pete, what's your plan?
I don't know. Well, actually, I wanted to go back to Q. You had mentioned earlier you wanted to do a show, a podcast on
really?
things. Was that were you just messing with us, or is that like something you actually legit want to do?
What do you mean? Like the little habits you guys have?
Yeah, something like that. Like how to make a better podcast. Like you're like critiquing podcasts. critiquing podcasts and then
No, it's just we were just talking about, as a longtime listener of Gamertag Radio, you start hearing these little habits that Danny and Paris and Pete have that you're like, they always do that. Why are they always doing that? And you just hear them and like, oh, here comes Danny with the and stuff to whatever sentence he's saying. Yeah. Or you have Pete.
And the clap. You forgot the clap.
And the clap. And then you got,
we're done.
and then you got Paris having, all jokes aside, like after every sentence, all jokes aside, we know all the jokes are aside, man. Chill.
It's all good.
And then Pete with the, I don't know. I'll leave Pete alone. He gets enough of it from you guys, but I don't know. What are your pet peeves for GTR, guys? Send them. We'll put them on the air. No, just kidding. I don't know.
All right. Thanks a lot, man. Until next time.
You're listening to Gamertag Radio.
All right, so we're back here. Shout out to Spawn on Me, Game Crate. That was a great conversation. And by the way, Pete, remember, we were super tired that night. I was falling asleep. I was tired. We were exhausted, man. It was a long, long day with Far Cry, man. Crazy. But it was a lot of fun. Great conversation, man. Great conversation. So, all right, we're going to wrap it up here. Make sure to go to gamertagradio.com and download our podcast. You can go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, TuneIn Radio, and other podcast directories. Make sure to check out the documentary, which is totally free. It's called Gamertag Radio, a podcast documentary. You can find it on Twitch, also on YouTube. If you want to know more about the behind the scenes, how Gamertag Radio started and everything. And also Hope County Stories. It's a brand new podcast series about Far Cry 5, the characters and stuff, and it's really, really cool. It's every Wednesday we're going to have a brand new episode. So the next one is coming up is this one. I'm not going to say who it is, which character it is, but I want you to be surprised. And yeah, tune in every Wednesdays. Brand new episode of Hope County Stories. All right, exclusively only here on Gamertag Radio. Anything else, guys, before we wrap it up?
No, I think that's it.
Paris is good?
Yeah, I'm just waiting on Peter Molyneux to deliver BC. I'm good.
There you go. I'm waiting for Rockstar to send agents. By the way, Rockstar, here's a message for you, man. Go to Wikipedia and search for agents. It still says there's an upcoming game. It doesn't say cancel or anything like that, so make sure to update it. That would be great for us users that we're still waiting for that game. So just update it, that's all.
I got one before we go. I got one before we go. So Bethesda announced June 10th at 6:30 p.m. Pacific. They're going to have their E3 pre-E3 event that they do every year now. I'm sure we'll probably wind up being in attendance to that. But I'm curious from you, Danny and Pete, what do you think? Because they supposedly have a couple games that they've been working on. I'm trying to rack my brain of their IPs. What do you think they're going to have? Because they've already confirmed it's not going to be Elder Scrolls. So we're not getting Elder Scrolls. I think it's way too early for Fallout. So what could it be?
Could it be new IPs?
Maybe. I won't argue against that. I would love to see new IPs. Because I think what they've done the last few years, we just got Dishonored. We just got Wolfenstein. Like I said, I think it's too early for another Fallout, and they've already said it's not Elder Scrolls. I'm dying to know. I mean, something in the Quake universe. I mean, I don't know. I really have no idea what Bethesda's going to show this year, so I'm very intrigued.
Yeah, that's a great question, man. I don't know, Pete. Do you have any guesses there? Because I have no idea. I personally think it's a new IP, something that we don't know. I think that's the only thing I could come up with.
Yeah, I don't. But I don't know if I have one. You know what I mean?
Oh, and please, no VR stuff, please. Please, no VR stuff. Please.
Yeah, I can't think of another. It would have to be, because I can't think it would. It won't be a new Fallout.
Could it be a game that came out for the for Xbox and PlayStation, the game that they're releasing for the Nintendo Switch, that's possible too. No?
Well, but to showcase the show, they're not going to do that. Hey, remember that game you played 2 years ago? Well, now it's on the Switch. All right, goodbye. They're not going to do that. It's going to have to be something.
Well,
something
I do
bigger than
have a request. The last event that they had, I think it was cool, very cool. You know, we got to eat. We had some drinks and everything. And usually, when that happens, we like to go inside the event and just sit down, relax, and watch the press conference.
Oh my God.
They had us standing. I left. I couldn't take it. I was too tired. I'm like, dude, I've been walking all day, and you're going to make us stand here for like an hour plus?
Remember?
And it was packed.
Remember? We tapped out and left. We didn't even stay for the whole thing.
Yeah, we left.
Remember?
You guys actually left to join me at the EA party, at the Game Changers party, which was hilarious because I was butthurt that I wasn't going to be let into the Bethesda party. So I was like, what am I going to do? I got nothing else to do for the next 4 hours. And I ended up,
that EA party was a lot better than Bethesda, I'll tell you this now. But remember Danny, remember Josh, Josh over at Mixer? He wasn't kidding. It was so packed. He was like, can you put me on your shoulders? He was dead serious. He wanted to go on my shoulders so you could see.
Yeah. Yo, they only had a couple chairs, and that was supposedly for like the VIP area, but it was pretty packed. It wasn't a concert. Like, I can understand that, having a concert there, everybody standing, that's cool. But it was just Uncle Pete just on stage talking about.
And I couldn't even hear him.
games.
I was like, oh dude, it was. If that's the case again, look, we'll eat and then we're leaving. I'm out. I'm not staying. I'm not gonna stay for that.
Yeah, man.
Because that was crazy, man. The best one they did was the one that Pete and I went to. Where they had the sprinkles, because where we ran into Phil Spencer.
Yeah, it was me, you. That's when we got sandwiched between Khalif and Cicero too.
Yeah,
like you couldn't even see me. I was like sandwiched. All you saw was like my shoulder sticking out from the crowd. But they had the concert. We had In-N-Out and sprinkles.
Yeah,
and the turkey legs, the monster turkey legs.
Because they did it the opposite that year. They did the press conference first, and I was sandwiched in. I thought I was going to freaking die of a heat stroke sitting up there. But then afterwards, it was like then you go into that hangar, and they had the open bar and all the food, and then they did the concert and all that.
Who was the band?
Way to do it.
Who was the band?
Hey, it didn't matter. It's sprinkles and alcohol.
That's how you mattered.
It's all that mattered. Sprinkles in and out and turkey legs.
So you prefer that way?
Yeah.
Have it the press conference first, and then because by the time they had the press conference, we were tired.
Yeah,
we were exhausted, man. So they should definitely do that.
So I'm looking. They've already released Prey. They've already released Evil Within, Wolfenstein.
That's what I'm saying.
Elder, or as Danny's called it in the past, Edgar Scrolls. We've already gotten the Doom title. We've already gotten Fallout 4, Elder. Oh
my god!
I mean, short of pulling out like titles from the vault, Brink, Hunted, Star Trek, Pirates of the Caribbean, short of maybe Quake Champions that's finally ready to get launched, which they announced.
Or imagine. By the way, we have an exclusive deal with Disney, Star Wars. It's not gonna happen.
Not gonna happen because that contract's still under EA. So
you got a better chance of the agent coming out than that happening.
What if?
What if? Oh man.
One other thing. One other. This is a sad one here. So Amazon was selling Titanfall 2 on the PC for $5. I said, you know what, screw it, and I bought it. Right? Why not? The online. Friggin', I swear to God, I saw tumbleweeds blow past my screen. There was nobody online. No, I mean when I say nobody was online playing Titanfall 2.
You were there waiting like, hello? Is anyone there? Hello? Anyone?
Oh my God. It was that was sad. That was sad because it's a great freaking game. And they just, oh my God, they screwed that up so bad. EA really screwed that up. I mean, I haven't on the PlayStation 4 as well. I should see if there's even an online community on PlayStation 4, but PC was ghost town. Nobody was there. Sad.
Oh, that sucks, man.
Yeah.
That sucks. All right, so let's wrap it up here, and we'll see you later this week, man. Later this week, make sure to subscribe to our podcast and everything. All right. Until next time, we're out. Peace.
Thanks for listening to Gamertag Radio. Be sure to like us on Facebook and follow us on Twitter.
Thank you for listening to Gamertag Radio. If you'd like to donate and help us out for future events and more coverage and also better audio equipment, head over to donate.gamertagradio.com. That's donate.gamertagradio.com. Thank you.